also planetarily or in a galaxy.
Vaša bolezen, tudi če je najmanjši prehlad, je refleksija oziroma zrcalo tega, kar se dogaja na vsem svetu, celo v celotni galaksiji.
That's why, if you notice, there are some moments in the planet when there is an illness that everyone has the same illness around the world and then disappear. And then again another one that we are all in touch with, and then, you know, like cancer, like whatever. But suddenly we have all the same problem or around and then disappear. Because it's a own problem but reflected in the network.
In zato, kot veste, na svetu prihaja do epidemij različnih bolezni, kjer imajo vsi ljudje kar naenkrat enako bolezen, ki potem kar naenkrat izzveni, pa spet trenutno recimo gre za porast rakavih obolenj, za katerimi obolevajo mnogi, in potem je to odraz tega, kar se nam dogaja v tej skupni mreži.
Talking about being stuck, that was what happened to many beings in the galaxy before we as humans exist.
In ko govorimo o tej zagozdenosti, se je to zgodilo mnogim bitjem v tem univerzumu, preden smo začeli mi obstajati kot človeška bitja.
We had some beings here that we now used to call like Pleiadians. Do you know them? The Pleiadians?
Tu imamo bitja, ki jim recimo rečemo Plejadanci.
Arcturians, Vegans, Lyrians.
Arkturijanci, bitja iz Vege, Lirijanci.
Yeah, many of them doesn't have a physical body as us.
Mnogi med njimi nimajo fizičnega telesa, tako kot ga imamo mi.
And they move through dimensions like we move through houses.
In se premikajo skozi dimenzije, tako kot mi hodimo od hiše do hiše.
But doing that, it means that you are almost out of time. Because you don't have space.
Oziroma tako, kot gremo mi skozi hišo. In to pomeni na nek način, da je to tako, kot da potuješ v čas, oziroma kot da nimaš časa in prostora, skozi katerega bi lahko potoval.
So, what happened to most of them at the beginning of this galaxy was that they were living thousands and millions of years just to experience one thing.
Kaj se je torej začelo dogajati tem bitjem po ustroju našega vesolja? Da so začeli na tisoče in tisoče let izkušati le eno samo stvar.
For example, some of them used to just sit in front of a seed and look into the whole process from being born of the seed and grow and everything till the tree dies. And just looking.
Naprimer, če si predstavljate, da neko bitje sedi in vse življenje spremlja od prvega najmanjšega semena, kako to zraste, vzklije, zraste mogoče na drevo, do trenutka, ko to drevo umre. Samo sediš in zreš ta proces.
So one of the species that we used to call the draconians.
Ena od teh vrst, ki smo jim nekoč rekli drakoni,
they are the ones that moves the wheel, because the draconian people are the ones that moves the emotions.
Oni so tisti, ki so to kolesje, to kolo spravili v gibanje, kajti drakonci so tisti, ki operirajo z čustvi.
So they decided to enter to the core to this system, which is Orion.
Odločili so se, da bodo vstopili v ta sistem, ki je Orion.
And they start kind of a war.
In začeli so neke vrste vojno.
The war was talk to some of the Orion people about something and tell the other ones something different.
Vojna pa je potekala tako. Dobro, enim v Orionu bomo rekli eno stvar, drugim jo bomo zamolčali, drugim pa bomo rekli nekaj drugega.
So they created the most important emotion, doubt.
In tako so ustvarili najbolj pomembno čustvo, in to je dvom.
And doubt moves everything.
Dvom pa spravi v gibanje čisto vse.
Love into fear.
Ljubezen spravi v strah.
Yeah, so happiness into sadness.
Srečo spremeni v žalost.
So they kind of feel good about everyone start to moving. The ones that were looking to the tree, they said, what happened?
In tako so se dobro počutili posledično. Vsi so se začeli premikati. Tisti, ki so za vekoma izrli v drevo, so se vprašali, pa kaj se je zdaj zgodilo?
So draconians and the grey ones start to be happy.
Drakonci in sivolasi, oziroma sivi, so se razveselili.
And the other one said, how can we deal with this?
In vsi drugi pa so se vprašali, pa kako, kaj lahko zdaj s tem naredimo?
So every species here, in every spot of this galaxy,
Torej vse vrste biti tukaj, na vseh teh točkah, na vsaki točki univerzuma,
they realized that they were so focused on themselves that they forgot about the process of integration.
so spoznali, da so se tako zelo fokusirali le nase, da so pozabili na proces integracije.
So they decided to put them all together and create one place, well, there were three, but one place where they could experience the integrity.
In tako so se odločili, da bodo ustvarili en prostor, sicer so bili trije, ampak tisti en prostor, kjer bodo lahko izkusili integracijo.
So from every spot of this network, we as souls, as spirits, decided to live in this planet.
Iz vsake točke na tej celotni mreži smo se pojavila bitja, ki smo se odločila, da bomo živeli na tem planetu.
And that's why when we start to remember stuff from other lives, or when we start to connect with the spiritual ways, we usually see the sky and then say, I came from that star and I would love to go back there.
In zato običajno, ko smo začeli raziskovati svojo duhovno pot, ko so se nam začeli odstirati spomini na prejšnje obstoje, se v nas obudi ta vzgib, prihajam iz te zvezde in rad bi se vrnil tja.
So it's kind of an interstellar racism.
In to je neke vrste medzvezdni rasizem.
Because we used to say, we are the good ones, the Pleiadians are the good ones.
Kajti tudi takrat smo
Draconians are the bad ones.
mi smo tisti, ki smo dobri, mi smo Plejadanci, mi smo dobri, drakonci pa so slabi.
So we have to be light workers and channel those high enlightened beings so we could bring information to fight against the dark.
In zato moramo postati poslanci luči, da bomo kanalizirali sporočila teh visokih, svetlih bitij in razsvetlili tisto, kar pa je slabo.
But there's something that we don't really know about what it means channeling.
Ampak vendarle nečesa ob tem razumevanju, kaj pravzaprav pomeni kanaliziranje, ne razumemo dobro.
Because we are only one being in the universe, the only thing I'm doing is not talking with others, I'm just remembering.
Kajti, ker smo edino bitje v tem univerzumu, ne komuniciram z drugimi bitji, ampak komuniciram sam s seboj.
So every master, every being what we used to hear or channel, or we look for someone that is channeling, we are just looking or remembering the memories of that person in other level of consciousness.
In vsako bitje, vsak mojster, ki smo ga poslušali, predstavlja proces, v katerem se mi spomnimo te osebe, oziroma se spomnimo nekega drugega obstoja.
So it means that in every process of this reality, we are just putting together all the pieces from the very beginning to a main core.
To pomeni, da v vseh procesih, v vsem dogajanju samo združujemo vse te različne točke v eno samo središče.
So every species from the universe start to bring information, they brought information to this planet, and each one of us has that information within. But what we have to do now is to deal with it and unite it in the same reality.
In tako so na ta planet začele vse te različne vrste prinašati svoja sporočila, svoj spomin. In vse, kar moramo narediti zdaj, pa je, da vse to integriramo v eno.
And that's the most difficult thing, because integrate stuff in the third dimension is feeling in body and soul everything that is going on.
To pa je najtežja stvar v tej tretji dimenziji, da res začutiš vse, kaj je v telesu in v duši.
So that's why also when you ask for help to extraterrestrial beings, for example, they just appear and says, and they go away.
In zato se vam zgodi, da ko prosite ta bitja za pomoč, samo pridejo, pokukajo na vas in rečejo, okej, in grejo svojo pot.
Because they are not allowed to interfere in our own decisions.
Ker jim ni dovoljeno posegati v naše lastne odločitve.
Because our decisions are their own evolution.
Kajti naše lastne odločitve so njihova evolucija.
So we create an experiment which is ourselves.
In tako smo ustvarili ta eksperiment, to, kar smo mi sami.
And in this experiment, we have to gather all the parts of who I was in many times, in many realities, in this reality.
In v tem eksperimentu moram združiti vse svoje realnosti, vse, kar sem bil v tej tukajšnji realnosti.
That's why I said, in many times of the history, we used to say, this is the time, this is the important time, we have to do it.
In zato sem rekel, da smo v zgodovini prišli mnogokrat do tiste točke, ko smo rekli, to je zdaj tisti čas, to je pravi čas, da nekaj naredimo.
And for sure you were waiting for the 2012.
In prepričan sem, da ste vsi komaj čakali, da napoči leta 2012.
But in the 1200, it happened too.
Ampak to se je zgodilo tudi v 13. stoletju.
2000 years ago too.
Tudi pred 2000 leti.
They thought also in the 17th century.
Tudi v 17. stoletju so mislili enako.
And you will feel that for many people, every day is a new day.
In začutili boste, da je za mnoge ljudi vsak dan nov dan.
So the time is also like that.
Torej tudi čas teče na tak način.
It's not about a big change. It's about if we all decide to change at the same moment.
Pa ne gre za to veliko spremembo, ampak gre za vprašanje, ali se bomo vsi odločili za spremembo v istem trenutku.
And to do that, we have to be in the present.
In da bi to naredili, moramo biti v sedanjosti.
Because the present is the core.
Kajti sedanjost je jedro.
But the problem of the present is that we believe that this is the present.
Ampak problem sedanjosti je, da mi verjamemo, da je tole zdaj sedanjost.
And it's not.
Pa ni.
You know that this is the past?
Saj veste, tole je preteklost.
That's weird, but we're in the past.
To je čudno, ampak zdaj smo v preteklosti.
This is not the present exactly. This is a sensation, a feeling that is the present.
To ni čisto točno sedanjost, ampak to je naš občutek, naša zaznava, kot da je to sedanjost.
But every structure that existed in the universe like this
Ampak vsaka struktura, ki obstaja v vesolju, kot je tole,
is past.
je preteklost.
The only way you can feel the present is when you go within and you feel the future, present and past, all in the same moment.
Edini način, da res ste v sedanjosti, je, da greste vase in v sebi začutite istočasno preteklost, sedanjost in prihodnost.
We call that the eternal present.
In temu rečemo večna sedanjost.
That's the only stage where you can change realities.
To je edino stanje, v katerem lahko spreminjate realnost.
Why is that? Because this is not the present exactly, because you are conditioned by all the patterns in your DNA, in your thoughts, in your beliefs.
Zakaj? Zato, ker ta sedanjost je nekaj, kar je posledica vseh vaših prejšnjih izkušenj, kar je zapisano v vašem DNK-ju, v vaših mislih, v vaših prepričanjih.
So you will project the future according to your past.
In zato projecirate svojo prihodnost v skladu s svojo preteklostjo.
about what you feel is a good future.
Z drugimi besedami, tisto, kar čutite, je tista vaša dobra prihodnost.
But every movement you do, every word you do, every thought you think is just a reaction in the DNA of what others in my DNA didn't do or did.
Ampak vsak gib, vsaka misel, vsaka izrečena beseda je le refleksija vsega tega, kar imamo v mojem DNK-ju, kar so vsi ostali bodi si naredili ali pa ne.
That's the ego, as I said.
In to je ego, kot sem že dejal.
So if I project the future according to the ego, it won't happen.
Torej, če projiciram prihodnost glede na ego, se ne bo zgodila.
Maybe it will happen just a tiny part of it.
Morda se bo zgodil le droben delček.
But when I do it from the ego sum, I will be joined to every ego sum around the network.
Ko pa jo ustvarim iz točke ego sum, potem se povežem z vsakim delčkom te mreže celega univerzuma.
So that creates a new reality. It's not just me thinking about it, it's a lot of us thinking about it.
In to je tisto, kar ustvari novo realnost. Ne, da jaz nekaj mislim, ampak nas je veliko, ki nekaj mislimo.
And also, to create a new reality, you never should think about how it's going to be.
Obenem pa prav tako, če želite ustvariti novo prihodnost, ne gre samo za to, da mislite na to, kako bi moralo biti.
Because according to that frequency, according to that thought, you are thinking always in future. So it will never happen because it's always future.
Kajti glede na to frekvenco, mislite samo na ravni misli, ker je to le misel in se zato nikoli ne zgodi.
The only way to change the present is by changing the present.
Edini način, da spremenimo sedanjost, je, da pač spremenimo ta trenutek, sedanjost.
And that's very difficult because the question goes to you that do you dare to change?
To pa je zelo težko, kajti vaše vprašanje, ki se vam vedno postavlja, je, ali pa si sploh tukaj prisoten, zato da se lahko zgodi sprememba.
We usually believe that changing things is changing outside stuff to be more comfortable as I am. But it's not like that.
Običajno smo namreč prepričani, da če želimo spremembe v življenju, moramo spremeniti stvari, ki so zunaj nas, zato da je nam bolj prijetno, ampak stvari ne delujejo na tak način.
So that's why I myself have to change my perspective of who I am and where I am in order to help others to change too.
In zato moram jaz najprej spremeniti svoje gledišče na to, kdo sem, kje sem, da bi lahko pomagal spremeniti tudi drugim.
So in other words, we are as humans just neurons in the brain of the planet Earth.
Z drugimi besedami, mi kot človeška bitja smo le nevroni na tem planetu, na možganih, ki jih predstavlja planet Zemlja.
And only one neuron can't do anything. They need the network, synapses.
In samo en nevron sam po sebi ne more narediti čisto nič. Potrebuje mrežo, potrebuje sinapse, medsebojne povezave.
So this is a synapsis.
In to so sinapse.
The connection between everyone and respecting the place of everyone.
Povezanost med vsemi in spoštovanje do kraja, do točke, kjer so drugi.
But suddenly we will realize that we are just cells inside another big being, which we call Mother Earth.
Ampak kar naenkrat tako spoznamo, da smo zgolj celice, ki smo del še enega, dosti večjega bitja, ki mu rečemo Mati Zemlja.
So this is the problem. When we are here just dancing on this planet and trying to figure out what's our own mission in the world.
In tu se pojavi problem. Ko poplesavamo po tem planetu in ko se nenehno sprašujemo, kaj je naše poslanstvo na planetu Zemlja.
And suddenly it's the planet who is willing to change.
Pa kar naenkrat planet pokaže pripravljenost, da se spremeni.
And why that's the problem? Because we are the planet. So if the planet wants to change, we need to change.
In zakaj je to problem za nas? ker smo mi planet. In če se planet želi spremeniti, se mi preprosto moramo spremeniti z njim.
There is something that shows us that the planet is ready to go in another level of consciousness.
Tu pa je zdaj nekaj, kar nam kaže, da res planet Zemlja želi priti na višjo raven, na drugo raven zavesti.
We call it internet.
In temu rečemo internet.
It's a very superficial thing, but internet is something that helps people right now to understand that there is a network, invisible network, that connects us all.
To je sicer nekaj zelo površinskega, vendar je internet tisti, ki pomaga ljudem doumeti, da imajo zdaj možnost, da nam ta mreža predstavlja možnost, da se med seboj povežemo.
And it's the first time that we can be connected all around the world, know what's happening all around the world. Doesn't matter the culture, the languages, we are all connected like this, not pyramidal anymore.
In tako se je zdaj prvič zgodilo, da smo lahko med seboj vsi povezani, da vemo, kaj se dogaja na drugi strani sveta, ne glede na to, da je tam drugačna kultura, drugačen jezik. Prvič smo povezani na tak način, ne le piramidalno.
So that's an evolution way in which the planet is saying, this is the moment in which I need to change into a new reality.
To je torej evolucijski način, s katerim nam planet sporoča, da se želi spremeniti in vstopiti v drugo realnost.
We call that go in a higher octave in music.
In temu v glasbenem jeziku govorimo, da smo pristopili v višjo oktavo, v drugo oktavo.
There are 9 sounds in the universe.
V univerzumu obstaja 9 glasov, zvokov.
So when we experience all this in one level of consciousness,
In ko vse to izkusimo na eni ravni zavesti,
it's time to create another one.
je čas, da ustvarimo novo.
Yeah, and go to another point of view.
In da vstopimo v novo gledišče.
So we have to move from here to there.
In tako moramo iz te točke se premakniti tja.
As a whole being, as a planet.
Kot celotno bitje, kot planet.
So everything that we are living now, it's the process of transformation and evolving of consciousness of the planet Earth, not humanity. Planet Earth, aware that it's the moment to transcend to another level of consciousness.
Torej vse, kar živimo in izkušamo zdaj, je prehod zavesti nečloveškega bitja, ampak Zemlje, planeta, celega planeta, vsega, ki zdaj želi in kaže to namero, da vstopi v višjo dimenzijo.
And to move here, in order to go there, to this point,
premakne na to točko,
we have to go through this.
moramo iti skozi to.
It's the only way.
To je edina pot.
That's why this is a mess right now.
In zato je v tem trenutku taka zmeda.
Yeah. So to close this part, the whole information means that we are now reconnecting ourselves in the network of consciousness, of a new level of consciousness in the planet.
In da zaključimo zdaj ta del. Vsi se ponovno povezujemo z novo ravnjo zavesti planeta.
And we can't do it going through the side of the path, going through a future. We have to do it through ourselves within and changing our perspective of the dimensions.
In to lahko naredimo skozi cikle preteklosti in našim pogledom v prihodnost, ampak skozi nas same, ko spreminjamo svojo percepcijo, svojo zaznavo.
Otherwise, we are just doing this.
Kajti v nasprotnem primeru se samo vrtimo na tak način.
So after the break, we will keep moving with this, how to change from this to this. Yeah?
Po odmoru pa bomo pogledali, kako se lahko torej iz tega nenehlega gibanja poslužimo drugačne poti.
So, this is kind of trying to resume the place where we are, that we call the universe.
Na nek način sem zdaj poskušal povzeti, kaj pomeni prostor, v katerem smo, ta univerzum.
The first time I tried to explain this, I was talking 9 hours without stop. So
Ko sem prvič poskušal tole razložiti, je trajalo 9 ur brez pauze.
So that's try to put it all together.
Zato
Squeeze
sem
it.
res potrudil, da bi vse to stlačil v ta krajši čas.
Yeah. So well, now we know where we are as a structure. After the break, we will see how to change it from within.
Zdaj vemo, kje smo kot struktura. Po odmoru pa bomo pogledali, kako lahko naredimo zdaj to spremembo v nas.
I think so.
Mislim, zdaj.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Okay. Well, try not to sleep now.
Zdaj se pa potrudite, da ne boste zaspali.
Well, as I said, I wanted to also go to a present timing analyzing situation.
Kot sem že najavil, zdaj želim nekaj besed posvetiti, kaj narediti zdaj s to situacijo, v kateri smo v sedanjem trenutku.
Because we have many levels to understand our process. One is universal, the other one is the galactic one, and the other one is the civilizational one, and the other one is the personal.
Ker imamo več procesov, več gledišč, s katerimi lahko pogledamo na to, kar se nam dogaja v tej stvarnosti. En je univerzalen pogled, potem je galaktičen, what was the third one? In zadnji je osebni.
The personal is the last one, yeah.
The third one was
The civilizational.
In civilizacijski, se pravi.
Yeah. So these four ways of doing this process are exactly the same, but in different levels.
Ti 4 različni pogledi, vsa ta gledišča, so pravzaprav enaki, ampak prihajajo z različnih ravni.
So that's why they used to say that if we change, the world and the reality change. And also if the reality change, we change.
In zato je poznano to reklo, če želimo spremeniti univerzum, se moramo spremeniti mi. In realnost se spremeni takrat, ko se spremenimo mi.
But something that is happening right now in this planet is that we are ending a stage in the galaxy where we must integrate the last 12,000 years ago. 12,000 years.
Ampak nekaj pa se dogaja zdaj na tem planetu, da moramo zintegrirati vse to, kar se je dogajalo v zadnjih 12,000 letih.
We have many times and processes in the universe in which if everything is like a sphere, so we have to take one point here and make a cross. So it means that at the moment we are here, we for sure know that when we are at the opposite side, we have to prove if we have integrated the whole process that we went through.
Veliko imamo namreč različnih časov in prostorov v tej zgodbi univerzuma. In ko smo na zgornji točki, pa smo potem na spodnji točki, moramo pokazati, da smo pravzaprav zintegrirali vse tisto, kar nas je iz ene točke pripeljalo v drugo.
Yeah, so there are many different ways of seeing the process. So everything always is kind of a sphere or a spiral, yeah, in which we go to the center around the whole universe.
In če so v univerzumu vse, kar je, so samo krogi, lahko na ta proces pogledamo na veliko različnih načinov, vendarle se spet in spet pojavlja pod spirale.
So there are different processes in which at the moment we complete a stage, for example, this is 12,000 years,
In v tem trenutku smo v teh mnogoterih procesih denimo zaključili eno fazo 12,000 let.
It means that in order to keep moving in another level of consciousness, it means go from this place to this place and to this place, yeah, which is going into another level of consciousness.
Kar pomeni, da če želimo še naprej se gibati na tej poti v druga stanja zavesti, gremo iz ene točke v drugo, v tretjo in tako naprej.
We have tests here, like an exam,
Smo zdaj prišli na tej spodnji točki do preizkusa,
in which if we don't cross integrating the 12,000 years or transcending the 12,000 years, we still are in the same circle.
kar pomeni, če ne bomo opravili te preizkušnje, v kateri integriramo 12,000 preteklih let, bomo ostali na tej isti stopni zavedanja.
So we have many processes, from hours to days to months, many processes, timing processes, but we have one that affects us all in this planet, which is the process of 12,000 years.
Tako imamo vsi več procesov, ki jih lahko obračunavamo z minutami, z urami, z dnevi, tedni, leti in tako naprej, ampak vsi kot celotno človeštvo smo zdaj v tem zaključku ciklusa 12,000 let.
In these 12,000 years, the past 12,000 years, we have lived the creation and evolution of every civilization in this planet.
V teh preteklih 12,000 letih smo kot človeštvo preživeli razvoj vseh civilizacij na tem planetu.
But all of them were separated, different paths. Now we are at the same spot of the main civilization that connect the whole world, and now we are again connecting the whole world.
Ampak vse civilizacije so bile razcepljene. Zdaj pa smo na točki civilizacije, ki se povezuje v svet in ki tudi povezuje svet.
So in order to go here to this next 12,000 years around the galaxy, around the system, and to finish the process, in order to integrate that, we have to look backwards the whole history, understand which point was this, and try to transcend the reality today into another level.
In da bi zaključili cikl v naslednjih 12,000 letih, moramo zdaj v tem času pogledati nazaj v celotno obdobje 12,000 let in kaj je to obdobje prineslo, zintegrirati vsa ta spoznanja, vse te izkušnje, da gremo lahko v nov cikl na drugačni zavesti.
So if we are here right now, this is a very deep situation of our planet today, because the whole planet, every country in the world now is affected by a global concerning matters, like terrorism, for example, I don't know, many of the problems that we have today as a civilization.
In če pogledamo zdaj, na kateri točki se nahajamo kot civilizacija, razumemo, da je v čisto vsaki državi tega planeta v tem trenutku prišlo do določenih težav, s katerimi se soočamo. Bodisi, kot veste, imamo terorizem, pa spet drugačne težave v civilizaciji kot celoti.
And if you see through the whole process of history, this point here is the one that have all the problems of these 12,000 years in just one life.
In če pogledate razvoj civilizacij skozi zadnjih 12,000 let, ste spoznali, da v enem samem življenju zdaj lahko prepoznamo vse, kar se je dogajalo v vseh teh 12,000 letih.
And we are used to think as divided humans, and we are used to think as divided nations too, like different cultures, different people.
In navajeni smo razmišljati kot razcepljeno bitje že mi sami in navajeni smo, da v svetu razmišljamo kot o razcepljenem svetu na različne kulture, na različne religije in podobno.
So this is exactly the same as I was explaining before, that every spot in the world is trying to reconnect, but they believe they are the only ones important.
Oziroma je razcepljen svet tudi na različne narode. In vsi ljudje, vsi narodi na tem svetu se želijo povezati v mrežo, v eno točko, ampak vsak od njih je prepričan, da je on najbolj pomemben.
So if we take a look to the planet, not only as a rock in which we live, but also as an organism in which we take a very important part of, we have to start looking into the planet in a very different way from what we are doing now.
In če gledamo na planet, ko presežemo naš pogled, kot da gre zgolj za kroglo kamenja, potem vidimo bitje, ki je zelo pomembno za naše razumevanje življenja, ko razumemo to bitje.
So as I said, we could keep explaining about how the universe works in the spiritual way, because there are many things to talk about that. But in this process in which we are here, the main thing is to be responsible about the creation in this 3D.
Lahko bi še naprej z duhovne plati govorili o ustroju delovanja univerzuma, ker je o tem lahko povedati še ogromno, ampak kot sem dejal, je za nas zelo, zelo pomembno, da prevzamemo odgovornost v tej tretji dimenziji, v kateri živimo.
Because we have to remember, as I explained before, that until we don't finish the whole process of the reality we created, we cannot go to another level of consciousness. That's why we have to be responsible of what we created now before living in another reality.
Kajti, če se spomnite, je pomembno, da si zapomnite, da če ne prevzamemo odgovornosti za vse, kar smo ustvarili do sedaj, ne moremo narediti brez te integracije prehoda na naslednji krog.
That's why I know there is a lot of people channeling information that is true, in which they are from other levels of consciousness, they are sending us tools to enlighten ourselves, to go through another different level of consciousness. But we have to remember that we decided to be human and we have to be responsible of what we are now.
In zato je na tem planetu zdaj veliko ljudi, ki kanalizirajo sporočila, ki prihajajo v obliki orodij do nas iz višjih dimenzij. Ampak ob vsem tem je ključnega pomena, da se spomnimo, da ne pozabimo, da smo se mi sami odločili in si izbrali to pot kot človeško bitje.
So that's why we can go farther in the universal process, but if we don't understand our own process and the process of the planet, so we won't be able to accomplish our mission as a planet, as a species in the universe.
In zato gremo lahko v nedogled v razumevanje teh višjih prostorov, ampak dokler ne bomo razumeli, kdo smo mi, kako delujemo kot človeško bitje in kako deluje naš planet, ne bomo mogli iti naprej po poti širjenja oziroma razvoja univerzuma.
Also, what we have to remember is that we usually, because of the cultural way of thinking, usually believe that going to the light is going up to the heavens.
Obenem pa zaradi vseh pogojevanj in tega, kar nas uči naša kultura, verjamemo, da je edina pot proti luči, tista, ki nas vodi navzgor, v nebesa.
But when we go to the heavens and suddenly we find or an angel or a master or whoever is walking away there, they would say, look into yourself, look within.
Ampak kadarkoli na tej poti naletimo na angela, na mojstra, kogarkoli že, ki se sprehaja v teh prostorih, vedno znova dobimo sporočilo, pojdi vase, poglej navznoter.
And if we are a biological being living in a bigger biological being, which is the planet Earth, so what is within?
In če smo mi biološka bitja, ki živimo v še večjem biološkem bitju, ki je Zemlja, kaj pomeni navznoter?
Is the core of the planet.
To je središče, jedro Zemlje.
Usually known as hell.
Običajno ga poznamo kot pekel.
So that's why we are afraid of going down.
In zato nas je strah, se bojimo iti navzdol.
Because we were taught culturally that we only have to go up to heaven.
Kajti kultura nas je ves čas učila, da moramo iti samo navzgor, v nebesa.
So, in order to heal the history, we have to go to the history, which is underground.
In da bi lahko ozdravili zgodovino, je edini način, edina pot, da gremo v zgodovino, kar pomeni pod zemljo.
And bring that light from heaven to the core of the planet.
In to svetlobo, nebeško svetlobo, prinesemo navzdol v središče zemlje.
It's a little bit of story, according to my memories. One of the things that happened in the universe was that we all wanted in some way to go back to the self.
Zdaj pa zgodba, ki jo pripovedujem po svojem lastnem spominu. V univerzumu smo se vsi želeli poglobiti vase, iti v svoj lasten jaz.
And everyone in the universe has its own tool to do that.
In vsakdo v univerzumu ima svoje lastno orodje, da to lahko naredi.
So all these tools are good for evolution.
In vsa ta orodja so v redu za namen evolucije.
So in this planet we have to find our own way to evolution.
In tudi na tem planetu moramo poiskati, najti svoj lasten način razvoja.
And one of the things that in this planet we have that many other planets doesn't have is emotion.
In ena od stvari, eno od orodij, ki ga imamo na tem planetu, pa na mnogih planetih tega ni, to so čustva.
Emotion, which is completely related to the soul, is the main source of the movement of the universe.
To je čustvo, ki je v osnovi povezano z dušo, ki je osnovna gonilna sila vesolja.
That's why from many other planets in different galaxies, in different systems in this own galaxy, they decided to accomplish the mission in a planet like this, which is a chaos.
In zato so se bitja iz različnih galaksij, širom vesolja, tudi iz te galaksije, odločila za svojo pot na takem planetu, kot je ta, kjer pa je kaos.
Because the quantity of energy that every human have to do its own process is much more than any other in other species in the galaxy.
Kajti količina energije, ki jo imajo bitja tukaj na tem planetu za to lastno pot navznoter, presega količino energije, ki jo imajo bitja kjerkoli drugje v galaksijah.
There are some species in the universe that don't want to find any human ever, because just one laugh or one shout of a human would kill him of a heart attack.
V nekaterih galaksijah obstajajo bitja, ki ne želijo naleteti nikoli na človeško bitje, kajti že samo en nasmeh oziroma nek vzklik človeškega bitja v tem drugem bitju povzroči srčni infarkt.
For some of them, we are a virus.
In za nekatere mi predstavljamo virus.
That's why they don't want us to go out this planet.
In zato ne želijo, da bi mi odšli z našega planeta.
For others, we are a source of energy, like nuclear.
Za spet nekatere druge smo mi vir energije, tako kot jedrska energija.
And for others, we are the only source that can go within with so much energy.
In za spet tretje smo mi edini vir, ki predstavlja tolikšno energijo, da gremo lahko navznoter.
And you would say, but there are some of them that go through one dimension to other, so they are better.
In za nekatere bi morebiti lahko sklepali, pa saj potujejo iz ene dimenzije v drugo, se pravi, so dosti boljši od nas.
But it's not like that. They are not higher or closer to the core of the universe because of that.
Ampak to ni pravo razumevanje, češ da so zdaj dosti bližje temu jedru zaradi teh svojih prehodov. To ne drži.
Because they are allowed to do that, because they are just one essence and not all together.
Kajti to jim je dovoljeno zato, ker so ena sama esenca, niso pa v tej medsebojni povezavi.
That's why it's in such a way humanity is so important for many other species.
In zato je na tak način človeštvo tako zelo pomembno za mnoge druge vrste v vesolju.
Because even if we are crazy guys running in this rock, it's useful for them and for us.
Kljub temu, da smo na nek način norci, ki živimo na tem planetu, je to zelo koristno, ne le za nas, ampak tudi za vsa druga bitja.
So, the thing is which one of those three energy sources we want to be.
Vprašanje pa je, kateri od teh treh virov energije želimo biti.
So for sure, the people that is conscious about this, or that is willing to be conscious about this process, wants to be the source to go to the main source.
In zagotovo ljudje, ki so na tej poti, ki želijo biti na poti ozaveščanja in zavesti, želijo biti sami ta svoj vir, da grejo navznoter.
And that was the first try in this planet, the first civilization that used to live in northern Europe and Siberia and Antarctica.
In prva civilizacija, ki je živela na tak način, je naselila severni del Evrope, Sibirijo in Antarktiko.
They weren't much human. They were weird.
Niso bili čisto človeški, bili so čudaški.
But they have a very, very good knowledge about what the planet was and what the purpose of the beings in this planet was.
Ampak imeli so zelo dobro poznavanje in razumevanje planeta in kaj je pravzaprav namen planeta in biti na njem.
But there was a problem. They were not from this planet.
Ampak bil je problem, ker ta bitja niso bila iz tega planeta.
So for this planet it was like kind of a virus.
In takoj na nek način so ta bitja za planet predstavljala virus.
So they create another civilization.
In zato so ustvarili novo civilizacijo.
With just a few of DNA from this planet. And they call it Lemurians.
Z drobci DNK-ja teh bitij. In tej civilizaciji so rekli Lemurija.
Well, we call it Lemurians.
Pravzaprav mi ji rečemo Lemurija.
But they weren't called like that. So that civilization was kind of a little bit more human, but not yet.
Njihovo poimenovanje je bilo sicer drugačno in ta nova civilizacija je bila na nek način dosti bolj podobna človeški rasi, ampak vendarle še ne čisto.
So they create another one, which was what we call Atlantis.
In tako so ustvarili še eno civilizacijo, ki jo mi poznamo pod imenom Atlantida.
And they were the mix of 3 or 4 races.
In tu je šlo za mešanico 3 ali 4 ras.
And one of them was very, very human. The real humans.
Ena med njimi je bila tisti pravi človek.
So that's how they create humanity, the first race that they call the blue ones.
In tako je ta prva rasa ustvarila človeštvo, človeško raso. Rekli pa smo jim modri.
We still have this tradition about the blue blood.
Še vedno imamo to tradicijo, ko govorimo, da je nekdo modre krvi.
So they wouldn't lose the blood and the information within.
In tako niso izgubili krvi oziroma vseh informacij navznoter.
So humans start to take over the whole planet, but this specific race, which were the Atlanteans, the blue ones, they had the whole information of the ancestors and the fathers and mothers from the star.
In tako je človeštvo začelo naseljevati celoten planet, ampak ti modrokrvni so pa posedovali vse informacije in spomin prednikov, matere in očeta Boga.
So they were the first civilization on realizing that we as humans are sources of energy. And the only way they can be used to, used to evolution, is if we are connected through the network of the planet.
Bili so prva civilizacija, ki se je začela zavedati spoznanja, da je človeško bitje vir energije. In edini način, da stvar deluje, je, da se povežemo v medsebojno povezavo po celem planetu.
So according to the technology that was brought from Sirius, Orion and other systems, they created here the machines to do that connection.
In s pomočjo sporočil oziroma pomoči civilizacij, kot je tista iz Siriusa ali pa iz Oriona, so ustvarili stroje, ki nam pomagajo to tudi uresničiti.
So those machines at first were stones, then were temples, and then were pyramids.
Na začetku so bili ti stroji, ti naprave kamni, potem piramide in potem
Temples?
templi. Tempelj,
Ja.
potem piramide.
And then we disconnected. I would say why we disconnected and returned to the stones.
Potem pa so odšli, prekinili to povezavo in se vrnili k kamnom, v kamne.
So what this civilization did here, in this stage of the history, before it starts the 12,000 years of this crazy history we have.
In kaj so naredila ta bitja? Preden se je začela ta nora doba zgodovine človeštva 12,000 let.
According to the information of the people from the stars, they created the network to go within and outside their reality.
Glede na sporočila civilizacije iz zvezdi, so ustvarili način, kako lahko vstopajo in izstopajo iz realnosti.
And they had it within as a human and around the world as a planet.
In to se je zgodilo navznoter v človeškem bitju, kot tudi v celoti za planet.
They call it the planetary grid,
In temu so rekli planetarna mreža,
or the flower of life and the cubes around the world.
oziroma roža življenja in vse te kocke, ki se nahajajo na Zemlji.
Every spot, as if you take the flower of life and you put it in such a way around the planet, around the globe, you will find special spots, geologically and energetically, where the consciousness of the planet flows.
Če vzamete rožo življenja in če z njo obdate planet, najdete točke na tem planetu, ki predstavljajo vstopne točke v zavest Zemlje.
There are many spots, even in every atom, but the most bigger ones are like 92 around the planet.
Veliko je teh točk, od največje do najmanjšega atoma, a vendarle je teh velikih prehodnih točk 92 na tem planetu.
And it's composed by many patterns of energy and many patterns of geometry that contains a sphere, which is the Pentakis dodecahedron.
Sestavljajo pa jih različni vzorci energije in geometrijske oblike, ki predstavljajo dodekaeder.
And to see it clear is a soccer ball.
In da bi si jasneje to predstavljali, imate lahko v mislih nogometno žogo.
So that geometry contains the consciousness and the thinking of the planet. So the ancient civilizations went to those places, and by changing their own frequency, they could talk to the planet and talk to every civilization around the world.
In ta mreža predstavlja zavest celega planeta. In naši predniki, starodavna bitja, ljudje, so prepoznali te pomembne točke, šli so na te kraje in ko so spremenili svojo lastno frekvenco, so lahko komunicirali s komorkoli nekje drugje na planetu.
That was the first Wi-Fi.
In to je bil prvi Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So, but the only way you can do it, that you could get into this network, was by being very centered in yourself. So they prepare every citizen of every civilization to be centered in the own being.
Ampak edini način, da si lahko vstopil v to mrežo, preko katere si lahko komuniciral, je bil, da si bil popolnoma osrediščeno bitje. Tako so takrat naučili čisto vsakega človeka, kako biti poravnan in v ravnovesju.
So, by doing that, they were sure that the whole civilization and the whole planet were thinking the same thing, were thinking in creative ways, and they were allowed to be informed about everything that the planet was needing or other civilizations were needing.
In na ta način so bili prepričani, da vsa bitja na tem planetu imajo pravico do informacij o vsem, kar se na tem planetu dogaja, in da lahko preko te mreže tudi sporočajo, kaj je tisto, kar potrebujejo.
According to the structure of the universe, there were 12 guardians of this knowledge of the 12 phases of the dodecahedron.
Glede na strukturo univerzuma je bilo 12 varuhom dodeljeno čuvanje vseh teh informacij in to je spet 12-stranični dodekaeder.
They call it the Dasnai, the families.
In tem pravijo družine.
So these families were in charge of taking care of the whole planet, but suddenly one or two of those families wanted to take care of everyone.
In te družine so bile zadolžene za to, da predstavljajo da so varuhi celega planeta. Kar naenkrat pa se je ena družina ali dve družini so se odločili, da pa bi oni želeli prevzeti to vlogo za ves svet.
Not because they were bad people, but because they wanted to be the best one.
Ne zato, ker bi bili to slabi ljudje, ampak zato, ker so želeli biti najboljši.
So they screw it up.
Vse zafartili.
Why? Because this planet is special, because we are all different.
Zakaj? Zato, ker je ta planet tako zelo poseben, ravno zato, ker smo si vsi med seboj različni.
And every phase of the planet sees into a different perspective of the universe. So if just one of these phases take care of all of them, the perspectives disappear.
In zato, ker vsaka stran tega planeta je omogočena popolnoma drugačna perspektiva na celoten univerzum. In če nadzor prevzame le ena sama stran, se vse zafrkne za cel planet.
So we left the system of the matter, which is the matrix.
In tako smo zapustili sistem matere, to je sistem matrice,
to the pattern.
In vstopili v vzorec.
We call that mom and dad.
Temu rečemo mati in vzorec je oče.
Matrix is the network of everything.
Matrica je mreža vsega.
And the pattern is the ways in which we move around this.
Vzorec pa predstavlja način, kako se premikamo skozi matrico.
So at the moment just one of these spots told to the other ones how to move around. So we stop following the matrix and start following the pattern.
In tako je v enem določenem trenutku samo iz ene točke prišlo do navodil, kako naj se vsi premikajo skozi to matrico. In smo iz matrice vstopili v vzorec.
So from that moment we start to follow a paternalistic system instead of the matriarchy system.
In od tega trenutka smo začeli delovati po načelu patriarhata, ne pa več iz matriarhata.
So at the moment of Atlantis and all the civilizations that they created, only women were able to be in the government.
In v trenutku Atlantide in vseh civilizacij, ki so jih ustvarili, je bilo dovoljeno vladati samo ženskam.
Because they were thinking of people as their own family.
Kajti na ljudi so gledale, kot da je to njihova družina.
So they were like many mothers taking care of many sons.
To je tako, kot bi mnogotere matere skrbele za veliko sinov.
But this system is one father telling to every son what to do in their lives.
Ta spodnji sistem pa pomeni, da imamo enega očeta, ki vsem svojim sinovom govori, kako morajo živeti svoje življenje.
We must remember, only one doesn't work, just the two together.
Ampak spomnimo se, da samo en ne deluje sam po sebi, samo oba skupaj delujeta.
That's why in the government, women were the rule ones, but the men were the assistants.
Ja. In zato so v vladah, denimo vladale ženske, moški pa so bili prav tako prisotni kot njihovi pomočniki.
At the moment, two of these families took the power and they started a war in between them. So one won the war. The whole network of the planet started to follow the pattern. So from that moment, every human is following unconscious patterns in which we are not able to go out from.
In v trenutku, ko je prišlo torej do spora, do teh dveh družin, ki sta izstopili, je ena od družin zmagala vojno med njima In kot celotno človeštvo smo začeli slediti temu vzorcu, kar pa pomeni, da živimo iz nezavednega in iz tega nismo znali stopiti.
So from that moment, we used to hear the sentences like, under my roof I rule, this is my rules, you know, like the fathers to the sons.
Trenutka naprej poslušamo stavke, kot so pod to streho jaz vladam. To je pogosto slišati, kako očeti to govorijo sinovom.
And all these kind of things like only the hard work is the way to earn your life. I don't know, this kind of weird stuff.
In podobne čudaške stvari, kot so samo s trdim delom si lahko zaslužiš vsakdanji kruh.
Because only one person was in charge of everyone, so the rest of the people didn't care about ruling themselves, so they start to follow them.
Ker je vladala le ena oseba, drugim ljudem ni bilo mar za to, da bi sledili sebi, ampak so vsi začeli slediti eni osebi.
And when that happened, every human in the planet start to lose their own connection and start to follow others.
In ko se je to zgodilo, so čisto vsa človeška bitja na planetu izgubila svojo lastno povezavo in začela slediti drugim.
It's not something bad, because naturally we used to go in manadas, crowds, like
Groups.
yeah, in groups, yeah.
In to ni nekaj slabega,
Tribes.
kajti navajeni smo bili živeti v plemenih, v skupnostih.
So because we are like animals, mammals, so we need the family and someone to guide us.
In ker smo sesalci, smo kot bitja navadeni k temu, da želimo živeti skupaj in želimo, da nas nekdo vodi.
But the problem about someone guiding us is because we are guided by the main emotion of our survivor energy, which is fear.
Ampak problem ob tem, da nas nekdo vodi, pa je, da nas vodi tisto osnovno naše čustvo, to pa je strah in torej strah za golo preživetje.
Survivor or fear, fear is the main tool that brought us here. Fear is very good. It's a really good thing if you think about it. But just for people that wants to survive. Once you are aware that life is beyond death, you don't need to fear anymore.
Preživetje oziroma strah kot tak je nekaj zelo dobrega, kajti pripeljal nas je v to izkušnjo, ampak v trenutku, ko veš, da vse preživiš, da ni konca, potem ni več potrebe, se ta strah razblini.
So that's why when people start to not fear anymore, there is someone that creates fear, so we need to survive again, and we need someone to guide us towards that reality.
In tako v trenutku, ko ljudje začnejo opuščati ta strah, se spet najde nekdo, ki jim ta strah na novo vzbudi in je vse, v kar smo spet usmerjeni, samo želja, da preživimo in spet želimo nekomu slediti.
So this pattern of guidance around the planet, around our civilization, is going over here.
In ta vzorec usmerjanja in sledenja za celotno civilizacijo se zdaj nahaja na tej spodnji točki.
And that's because we are again reconnecting with the network.
To pa zato, ker se zdaj na novo povezujemo s preomenjeno mrežo.
So we can decide if we choose to have fear or not, because all the information is there available for us right now.
In tako se zdaj v tem trenutku lahko sami odločimo, ali bomo še naprej živeli s strahom, ali pa se bomo odločili za povezavo s to mrežo, ker je vse povsod okrog nas.
The problem is that we are still in the pattern of Atlantis. 12,000 of years of conditioning of this civilization.
Problem pa je v tem, da smo še vedno v stanju iz Atlantide. To je tisto življenje strahu, kjer sledimo vzorcu.
Many of them destroyed some pyramids, destroyed their own villages, destroyed the temples, which for us now are, for the past, is what for today, for us, are the servers, the internet servers.
so mnogi, they destroyed, so uničili piramide, uničili so svetišča in to je tisto, kar za nas v tem trenutku predstavlja ta spletni strežnik.
The pyramids and the temples were built for people to prepare themselves to be one, to be the self again, and the pyramids were like portals of frequency to get into the multidimensional universe.
Piramide in templi so bili ustvarjeni in zgrajeni zato, da ljudem pomagajo iti v to točko v sebi. Piramide so bile zgrajene kot portali s frekvenco, ki nam je omogočala uvid in povezavo z drugimi dimenzijami.
So people in the past lives, they used to be prepared since the very moment they were born on this culture of being connected with the self.
In takrat so ljudi od malega že začeli učiti in jih navajati na to, da živijo v popolni povezavi s seboj.
So that's why it's very difficult for us right now to work on a new civilization, on a new reality, or change the reality just by changing right now. We have to think about helping change the childhood.
In zato je za večino od nas zdaj zelo težko narediti vse te velike spremembe prav zdaj v tem trenutku. In zato je zelo pomembno, da razmišljamo o sebi od samega otroštva naprej.
So there was a change of frequency in the 87, the year 1987, August. I think like it's been 30 years last week or a few days ago from that moment of changing frequency.
Bilo prav zdaj v teh dneh avgusta leta 1987 je prišlo do velike spremembe v frekvenci, torej točno pred 30 leti.
So what it means that the generations that has less than 30 years came as souls prepared by the frequency to cut with all the legacy of these 12,000 years.
Kar pomeni, da so duše, ki so na planetu manj kot 30 let prišle, že v pripravljeno obdobje nove frekvence, zato da presekajo to, kar se je dogajalo v zadnjih 12,000 let.
They used to call them the indigo childs.
In tem otrokom so rekli indigo otroci.
But it was not because of the souls or they were special. It's because the planet was vibrating in indigo frequency.
Pa ne zaradi njihovih duš ali zato, ker bi bile te duše nekaj posebne, ampak zgolj zato, ker je planet vibriral na drugačni frekvenci.
So most of us, has the energy or the frequency that says we don't want to follow anymore this system.
In večinoma imamo torej mi mlajši to frekvenco, ki nas vodi v to, da ne želimo več slediti načinu življenja zadnjih tisočletij.
And it's funny when you hear people, old people or adult people saying this youth is lost.
In zato je tako zelo smešno, ko slišim, da starejši ljudje govorijo, ta mladina je pa čisto izgubljena.
But it's not lost, it's another path.
Ni izgubljena, ampak gre za drugačno pot.
So in order to change from the very beginning, most of the things that were rolling this planet the past 12,000 years, you have to change everything.
In da bi lahko spremenili večino stvari, ki so v zadnjih 12,000 letih vladale tem planetu, moramo spremeniti čisto vse.
And the first thing you have to change is your relation with the planet.
In prva stvar, ki jo morate spremeniti, je vaš odnos s planetom.
That's why these new generations needs a new frequency to push from the very deep part of the planet everything that the other generations, by thinking too much, left behind.
In zato ta nova generacija potrebuje pravo frekvenco, da bo lahko od spodaj navzgor iztisnila vse tisto, kar je posledično stvar pretiranega razmišljanja starejših generacij.
We have the chakras.
Imamo čakre.
Yeah, and usually in this civilization, this past times in like 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, we start to believe that from here to below, it was sin. And from here there is heaven, so we have to be connected with the heart, the mind, the voice, but don't show anything below.
In običajno smo v preteklih civilizacijah, še posebej po zadnjih 2000-3000 letih, sprejeli prepričanje, da so vse čakre, ki so od pasu navzgor, božanske, srce, tretje oko in tako naprej, vse, kar je pod središčem, o tem, tega pa se ne dotikajo, o tem ne govori.
So energetically, what the ancient civilizations, or the ancient people, adult people, did in the past lives was to build a press, represa, like a no, like where the water is in the other side of this wall. Huh? The dam. That. Yeah. They built a dam in history, so they have a lot of water here, a dam here, and a small stream here.
In zato so, če si predstavljate, vse te civilizacije v zgodovini gradile kot neke vrste jez, pod katerim je ogromna količina vode, ampak skozi ta jez so dovolili, da predslovlja čisto malo vode.
Remember that this chakra is fed with this chakra here.
Ampak spomnite se, da se ta čakra hrani in povezuje s to čakro spodaj.
So, as much spiritual I became, but I don't want to talk about this. Yeah? So, much energy accumulates here through time.
Še tako poduhovljen, če ne govorim o tem tukaj spodaj, se tu zakumulira skozi čas ogromno energije.
So, we said, okay, to enlighten ourselves, we need music, we need frequency, which we call music, to enlighten ourselves.
In tako smo rekli, če se želimo razsvetliti, potrebujemo lakotnejše svetlobne frekvence, zvoka, glasbe.
Remember about frequency, energy, and matter.
Spomnite se, frekvenca, materija, energija.
So, in order to go up, we translate that frequency into classical music, into choral, all this angel chantings.
In da bi se povzdignili, da bi šli navzgor, smo to frekvenco pretolmačili v klasično glasbo, koralno petje in podobno.
And energetically, in these past 20 years, there was people coming and like the Berlin Wall, they were, kicking it up.
In energijsko, kaj se dogaja v zadnjih denimo 20 letih, recimo padec Berlinskega zidu, ljudje so prišli in ga preprosto podrli.
And all this force come down and destroy everything up, which we used to call unconscious.
Vsa ta sila se je zbrala in izbruhnila navzgor in porušila vse tisto, kar smo mi nekoč poimenovali, da je pravzaprav nezavedno.
And all the classical music became reggaeton.
Okay.
Reggaeton.
Vsa klasična glasba se je spremenila v glasbeno zvrst reggaeton.
Because all the sexual energy is the first one receiving this kind of... So all the sexuality in this age is very important because 3,000 years without talking about it.
In zato je v tem procesu vsa spolna energija, vsa seksualnost tako zelo pomembna, kajti zadnjih ne vem koliko let o tem sploh nismo govorili.
And remember, the only way you can connect energetically one point with other is by positive and negative.
In spomnite se, da je edini način, da se vse skupaj poveže preko povezave pozitivno-negativno.
That's sexuality, indeed.
To je v resnici seksualnost.
So, if we were denying many things about sexuality and creation and freedom and being myself, which is all these chakras, sexuality, expression, being myself, we took this all away. So now we are selfish, we create whatever, we don't do anything, and they think in sex all the time.
No? In če smo zdaj potlačili vse to, kar je bilo prej tukaj spodaj, seksualnost, svobodna volja, izražanje, kreacija, potem smo zdaj šli v drugo skrajnost. Da delamo, kar se nam zljubi, ali če hočemo, ne delamo prav nič, pa ves čas mislimo na seks.
So, also, a lot of what we call love here, it became hate here because of the energy going through so hard.
In veliko tega, čemu tukaj zgoraj rečemo ljubezen, je postalo tukaj spodaj sovraštvo zaradi vsega tega potlačenega, kar se nam je dogajalo.
So, what I'm saying here, that maybe today we complain about the reality we have in our countries, the presidents, the politics, the economists, and all that. But all that is the result of 12,000 years of we living and doing nothing about that.
Kaj je torej moje sporočilo glede vsega tega? Da se zdaj v tem času nevedno pritožujemo nad političnimi sistemi, gospodarskimi sistemi in vsem drugim, kar se nam dogaja na tem planetu, ampak to je posledica tega, da zadnjih 12,000 let nismo naredili nič, nismo delali nič.
And we did a lot of job by the shape. Shapes has changed a lot from feudalism to monarchy, republic, democracy, and all these technology advances. We have freedom of speech. We have a lot of things in many parts of the planet, and that's evolved. That's evolution. But we don't have the main evolution, which is the conscience of the self.
Naredili smo sicer velik razvoj glede prehajanja iz različnih oblik v nove oblike, iz feudalizma v republiko, na to demokracijo, in v kraljestvo, republiko, demokracijo in tako naprej. Prešli smo skozi različne faze oblik, ampak tisto, kar je pa najbolj pomembno, je pa razvoj naše zavesti.
What we have now as a civilization is the same like bringing a lot of monkeys to the university.
To, kar imamo zdaj kot civilizacija, pa izgleda tako, kot bi zdaj en kup veliko opic pripeljali na univerzo.
People with knowledge, but no wisdom.
To so ljudje, polni znanja, a brez modrosti.
So, now in the next stage of this civilization, we have to awake the wisdom.
In zdaj v naslednji fazi naše evolucije moramo prebuditi to modrost.
So, for that, we have to remember that the countries and the cultures are like the organs of this planet.
In da to uresničimo, se moramo spomniti na to, da so različni deli sveta, različne kulture, države, različni organi planeta.
That trees and humans, we are the neurons of this planet.
Drevesa in ljudje predstavljamo neurone na tem planetu.
That the cultures are the language in which this planet think.
Kulture predstavljajo jezike, ki jih za svojo pripoved uporablja ta planet.
That every culture, every language, every religion that exists are the different thoughts and way of thinking of this planet.
Vsaka kultura, vsak jezik, vsaka religija predstavlja različne načine razmišljanja tega planeta.
So, when we start to think about not we are living on a planet, but we are the planet, we have to start to think that we can't live all the same and we can't think just in one thing.
In ko pridemo iz prepričanja, da mi živimo na planetu, v razumevanje, da smo mi tudi ta planet, potem ne moremo več razmišljati zgolj skozi eno samo razmišljanje.
And that the civilization structure we have is the reflection or the fractal of our own biology.
In tako razumemo, da je civilizacija, ki jo imamo, le fraktal, odsev naše lastne notranje biologije.
So, when we talk about civilization, we have to think about a diseased body, an ill body.
In ko govorimo o civilizaciji, moramo govoriti o obolelem telesu.
And how do you treat an ill body? Do you blame him? Do you hate the person who is ill?
In kako lahko pozdravimo obolelega človeka? Ga bomo obsojali, ker je bolan? Ga bomo tepli, udarjali tam, kjer ga boli?
This is the reality we have today is the only reality that we know. So we expect of it something that is not going to happen because we have to change before.
In realnost, ki jo imamo in od nje pričakujemo, da se bo spremenila, tega ne moremo pričakovati, kajti najprej se moramo spremeniti mi sami.
These are the chakras of our civilization. Agriculture is the first one.
To so čakre naše civilizacije. Prvo predstavlja kmetijstvo.
Culture, technology.
Je kultura, tretja tehnologija.
Economy.
Sledi ekonomija.
Education.
Izobraževanje.
Politics.
Politika.
And philosophy.
In filozofija.
Yeah? Okay, so this is the body of our being, the being we all share.
To je torej struktura bitja, v katerem smo vsi, ki si ga vsi delimo.
So, in order to change the reality we have now, because why we have to change the reality we have now? Because the planet is willing to change it right now.
Zakaj moramo spremeniti realnost, ki jo imamo prav zdaj? Zato, ker je želi spremeniti planet.
And the reason you see that is because every country is complaining about the reality that we all are living as humanity.
In v čem je razlog za to? Zato, ker če pogledate, se čisto v vseh državah ljudje pritožujejo nad realnostjo, v kateri trenutno živimo.
And that means in the unconscious that something is happening and that everyone wants to change something, but they don't know what.
To pomeni, da se na nezavednem nekaj dogaja. Vsak bi nekaj spremenil, ampak ljudje ne vejo kaj.
Or where to start, which is more difficult.
Ali ne vejo, kje začeti, kar je še težje.
Because we have to think that we only have like 150 years, mostly in South America, here a little bit longer, of republics. We left the kingdoms, we left, well, some countries, we left some traditions of the past, but we are still at the same pattern. There's no a king, but there's a president. It's almost the same.
Kaj ti vedeti morate, da vsaj pri nas v Južni Ameriki, pri vas nekoliko dlje, imamo šele 150 let zgodovine republike, delimo, ampak zamenjali smo samo kraljevino, kralja, za predsednika, ki ga imamo zdaj, ampak načela so pa še vedno pravzaprav enaka.
And to choose who to rule is not to be free.
In možnost izbrati, kdo ti bo vladal, ne pomeni, da si svoboden.
But the most difficult part of it is how do I choose in my life? Nobody taught me that in school.
To je pa najtežji del. Kako se lahko odločam v sebi? V šoli me nihče ni tega naučil.
We learn about emotions and about how to deal with it when we are older and we are almost dying, yeah.
Ko smo starejši, ko že umiramo, tako rekoč, nas kdo kaj nauči o tem, kako upravljati s svojimi čustvi.
But if in the first 7 years of our lives, someone teaches about how to feel, about how to deal with the emotions I feel, how to treat with others, how to be involved with others in a different way, so I will have the tools to go through all my life without thinking about the emotions anymore, just feeling it and dealing with it.
Ampak, če me pa v prvih 7 letih mojega življenja nekdo vodi in usmerja in me nauči, kako, kaj narediti s čustvi, ki jih imam, kako vstopati v odnose z drugimi ljudmi, potem bom v življenju imel močno orodje in se s tem sploh ne bom ukvarjal. Čustvo bom začutil in stvari reševal sproti.
That's the difference between education and teaching.
In tu je razlika med izobraževanjem in poučevanjem.
Education means to bring out what I have within.
Izobraževanje pomeni, da navzven prinesem to, kar imam v sebi.
Teaching is giving others what I believe is the truth, and they just take it.
Poučevanje pa pomeni, da drugemu podam to, kar mislim, da je resnica, in ta oseba to vzame.
So today, well, since the 18th century with the Industrial Revolution and all that, we created the teaching, not education.
In